So, reading with intentionality. It's something that I've been thinking about for a little bit throughout the day and a lot since I've just kind of been sitting here drawing as the night gets old. But I thought, I'd turn on my camera and talk about it a little bit because it's thoughts that are developing. That's going to be, I guess, a common theme around this channel is I'm going to turn my camera on and I'm going to say things that I'm not really married to. It's just stuff that I've been thinking about throughout the day. So on my way into work today, I was listening to a book review about a book that I had never even read, which is actually kind of atypical for me. But I knew it was a book that I wasn't ever going to read, and since I'm publishing my first book in a couple weeks here, I think that it's good to hear just general critiques out of context. I've found that to be actually a really effective way of helping my writing. But anyway, I was listening to these two girls and a guy talk about this book that I have never read, and they mentioned this book review was like a good hour, and they mentioned that they got to the end of the book, and between the three of them, they could remember the names of two characters, which was pretty astonishing to me that you could get to the end of a book and only remember two characters. Now, that might speak to the overall merit of the words that you've just read. Like, maybe the book really was just that bad. But I think it also speaks to the intentionality by which they read the book. They all said that they did it over Audible, and I'll get to that in a second. But when I went onto their channel, because it was a new channel that I was kind of unfamiliar with, they were talking pretty boisterously about how this was book number 60 that they had read this year in 2025. Book number 60. And that blew me away. I've always considered myself a moderately well-read individual. And even at my peak of consuming literature, I was reading like 2 books a week. Maybe. That's pretty fast for me. I'm not a particularly speedy reader in general, but that's me being overseas deployed where all I have to do is like go on Target and work out and read. That's it. Even then, I'm not consuming certainly not a book every day. That just seems wild to me, and it got me to thinking about how intentional they were about receiving this. And I'm citing to something that I'm not even sure that it's a pervasive issue or even that it's an issue in general. I haven't really been on the internet, I guess, all that much over the course of my life, and the time that I've spent on the internet over the past couple weeks has completely dwarfed what I have been over the past several years, just because I'm posting on the internet now. I'm making these YouTube videos, and YouTube is the only social media platform that I really consistently interact with as far as consumption goes. And the videos that I've been shown since I've been posting these videos, as an author and an artist, is all kind of oriented towards, book review sites somehow, which is, again, I'm more interested in seeing writers on YouTube than book review sites, but I guess that book reviewing is a much more prominent scene on YouTube, so that's mostly what I'm getting shown. But a lot of these channels just boast some crazy numbers, and I don't think that there's anything necessarily, I genuinely kind of believe them, but I think that there's something to be said about reading with intentionality and consuming in general with intentionality, but this might come from I guess a narcissistic place, not a narcissistic place, but I'm gonna that might be a little bit aggressive of a word, but I'm using it to describe myself and my own ambitions, so I think it's fine to be hard on myself. But I just got to thinking as they were reading this book, or as they were reviewing this book, what if they were talking about my book? What if someone consumed my entire narrative and closed the book, and at the end, all they could do was remember my protagonist's name? They couldn't remember any of the side characters, the places they've been, the nuances of the plot. I would be so upset, so much more upset than if someone read my book, viscerally hated everything about it and then went on to Goodreads and posted a 1-star review. In my mind, that's okay. Someone that gave my book the time of day and sat down, read it, hated it, or even attempted to read it, didn't finish it and left a review, all of that's fine to me. Like, if you give my book the time of day, you don't owe me anything. If you don't enjoy it for, any reason, I think that that's completely fine. And, I would honestly love the feedback because it would make me better as an author. But it would definitely aggravate me a lot more if someone, I guess, this is going to sound really, really preachy and really self-righteous, and I don't really mean for it to, but it would make me, this little fictitious thing that's happening in my head makes me a little upset, like the idea of someone just consuming my book through, like, I guess Audible. My book's not going to be on Audible for a while, but we're going to use that example, consuming my book through, like, Audible as they're having a conversation with someone or as they're doing chores and not even receiving the material, just kind of letting it blast them by. It's in general that tends to be my issue with audiobooks. That tends to be my issue with audiobooks for me. If people can effectively consume books through Audible, I think that that's phenomenal. You're like, go for it. You do you. I am horrible at multitasking. I think it's why I'm a half-decent sniper. I'm really, really good at sitting in a single spot for hours on end and focusing on a single thing. I can listen to an audiobook if I just sit in this chair and that's all I do. I just sit and listen to the audiobook. But at that point, it just makes more sense to read. And that's just still something that got me thinking. And I think that reading with intentionality and consuming with intentionality, specifically things with an academic connotation, kind of an academic stigma, is really, really important, because we read and, people just have a tendency to believe that all reading is productive because the medium itself is productive. And there might be some level of truth to that, but I just think that there's overconsumption is possible in any medium, and certainly with reading, till you get to this point where you're not really letting anything stick, and the issue isn't really the depth of the material. The issue is the depth of your understanding and the depth that you are allowing it to affect you. And I don't know. Again, this might not be a super pervasive issue. I've never met anyone in real life that struggles with this issue. Like, in my circle, I tend to be one of the more well-read individuals in my group, and it's just like, I read a book a week right now, maybe. Like, I'm busy doing other things. I'm busy, like, drawing. I'm busy publishing my own book. But even when I'm not, like, a book a week is probably pretty standard, if not ahead of schedule for me. And I don't see this. I don't know anyone in my real circle that actually consumes this way. So it might just kind of be an internet thing. I might make an entire video on that, about, like, the importance of taking anecdotal evidence as fact over the internet, because since I've been on the internet a little bit longer, I've started to see that, like, I see things on, like, my YouTube page, and I watch videos about things that have absolutely no effect on me, and that I would have never, like, opinions I would have never formulated just in the wild on my own. Because they don't represent my lived experience. But then I start to project what I've seen on my phone onto real life. And yeah, I'm not going to go over that right now. Again, I haven't done any research on the topic. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe I freaking won't. I don't know. That's actually something that I've been thinking about. I don't have, like, a whole lot. Like, the things that I'm making videos on right now are mostly just, like, thoughts that I've been having as I'm sitting here drawing, because I don't, like, I'm not really creating anything right now, and it's not for lack of trying. All I'm doing is just like the BS business aspect of publishing, which is not fun. I haven't written creatively in months because I've been editing so much. I haven't drawn creatively in months because I've been getting all of the pieces ready for my book. And so, I mean, that's like, I'm really excited for when I'm really excited to publish this book. One, because I'm excited to publish my first book, but also, two, because I'm ready to start creating again, meaningfully, for myself. Start writing book 3. I've already written book 3, book 2, which is also really annoying because, like, I know book 2 is written, so I'm going to have, like, I don't get to write something new now. Now I need to start editing book 2 so that I can release it after book 1. I'm rambling right now. I'm not saying anything important. Consume with intentionality. That's basically what I'm saying. Even things that are considered as societally being healthy, consuming with intentionality, I think, is important. And that's where I'm going to leave it. I could say a lot more, but I'm sure this is already a long video. And so, yeah, y'all have a good night.